Hello and welcome to the Creator's Garden. I am called Harpy, and today we will be doing some more art in regards to the world of Sanctus. Specifically, a couple of weeks back, I started a sort of poll tournament in my YouTube posts in the community tab, in which people would get to vote on their favorite Sanctus characters. And the results are in. We have our winners, and we'll be sure to go over the results of the tournament as well as my thoughts on the results. So without further ado, let's go ahead and move on to the main camera. Alrighty. So, if it hasn't been clear by now, Dolly is the winner of our tournament. Honestly, not a big surprise to me. She is very adorable. Even though her role in the Snapdragon Club series is fairly minor, I'm sure a lot of people who follow the channel, who've been here for a while, know her from other places. And if you do, shush. I'm just kidding. If you actually recall Dolly's previous incarnation, then, you know, I'm always grateful to hear from you guys. Just because it is something from the past doesn't mean, you know, I'm ashamed of it. It was a fun time, but it is in the past. But also, it's a little bit funny because those who know her from her previous incarnation would also know a bit of hidden lore about her. So, for those who aren't familiar with the Snapdragon Club series, in the world of Sanctus, there are Fae. And if there's one thing to note about Fae, is that when they introduce themselves, they do not use their true names. They instead have a chosen name with which they share with others. So, for this particular Fae, her chosen name is Dolly, because she is the toy Fae. She can make toys, she can hand out toys, you know, like plushies or like, you know, toy trains, stuff like that. So that means if you know her from her previous incarnation, you probably know what her true name is. And if you know her true name, shush. But yes, welcome. Hello, Ferox. Hello, Mr. Repairman. Hello, JR. I'm so glad you guys can make it. How have you all been doing? As you can hear, I'm at least not coughing as much as I was last stream. So, there's that. We do love a good port, oh my goodness. You just don't say Dolly's former name because you don't believe in fairies and don't want the fairies to give you a reason. Strange question, is she herself made of flesh and bone or something like fabric? Ooh, fascinating question. I have drawn her in the attention that she is definitely made of, you know, flesh and bone type, as most humanoid Fae are. So Fae like Dreamwalker or Shade are also more of a flesh and bone variety. You're most happy that I got better. Thank you. Been doing okay. Glad you're getting better. Goodness. I spoke too soon. But it's okay. Feather King has also been making sure that I've been taking good care of myself. Isn't that right, Feather King? Yeah. But yes, in terms of the art today, so for those who don't know, usually how I go about my art is that I will have a sketch ready, and then I would usually be using my colored pens here, just because I like the look of how like the colored inks give the line art. And then, I'd erase the sketch work and then go on to coloring alcohol markers. But I thought I'd try something a little bit different. Instead of using the pens, I thought I would try and instead go ahead and go over the sketch work, since it is mostly cleaned up already, and go over it with colored pencils instead. And using some of my, dark colored pencils, and hoping that it gives a similar effect, or maybe just something interesting. We'll see. But I still plan on coloring with the alcohol markers. Yo, what? There's a skeleton in this skin? Oh, I'm sorry you had to find out this way, It was bound to happen, unfortunately. Tempting fate, yes. Don't worry, I have plenty of hydration on standby. Speaking of... let me see if I can get that going. Thank you, Feather King. Maybe not this one. Maybe this one. But yeah, I suppose while I'm drawing, I can try to read off at least what the results of the tournament were. So of course, in first place, we have Dolly. In second place, we have Scotty Hijack, which is a huge surprise to me. I was for certain that the final two was going to be Dolly and Vakshi instead of Dolly and Scotty. So I'm wondering what variables came into play that made the votes swing so drastically in Scotty's favor at the last moment. But it was a very interesting development. And in third place, we have Oren Kingsley, which, again, of all the people to take third place, Oren has only been shown in the grand opening comic, which, from what I understand, is my least viewed comic. I swear more people know about the Wanderer's Tale and the Hunter's Tale more than the grand opening. Just because the grand opening is the first of the Snapdragon Club comics, and it's also the most, it's very lore dumpy, I will say. Like, it was originally just going to be this very laid back, low stakes type of, like, slice of life comic that I would, like, keep running for as long as I could. That was the original, planned for it. And when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to actually keep it going for as long as I wanted, I was like, alright, I need to wrap it up. I need to give it, like, some sort of ending. And so I did, so that's why it has a very rushed sort of ending, but I'm still fairly happy with it at the very least. Like, there's still all the elements inside it that I'm still happy with. But yeah. Orin is one of those characters who got a little bit of spotlight in the comic, but nothing too deep, I'd say. And hey Nero, welcome. Hope you're well. Well, as you can hear, I mostly have gotten over my cough, but for the most part, I feel like I am like 98-99% much better. And I hope you're doing well as well. I know you just finished your Elden Ring stream earlier. Lots of fun to see, by the way. Glad you also got your own hydrates and stretch checks in. What kind of alcohol markers do I use? So basically I've been sticking with the Ohuhu brand markers. However, the caveat here is that when it comes to refilling them, I no longer try to get the Ohuhu branded refills, just because it is such a pain. They keep changing the names of their markers, which has led to me buying the wrong colors. And instead, I got the Blick Art for the alcohol marker refills. And I've basically been eyeballing which colors are like close enough to each other that I'll just refill the barrels of the markers. So yeah. For physical art, I ought to get some softer pencils. My process digitally tends to be alarmingly bad sketch than somewhat refined than actual lines and color and shading. I mean, yeah, that's generally what my process is too, especially for the sketching stage. Because, you know, especially if I'm just like going in without like a full picture in my head, then it is taking me a long time to figure out where to place everything. Like, I've mentioned a couple times, I'm sure, on other streams where I said that creating a pose for a particular character in any given scene always takes me the longest, because I'm always like going back and forth about what's the camera angle, what, you know, how is the hand placed, how are the fingers placed, how much of the body are we seeing at any given point. There's a lot of stuff to take into account, but yeah. Does not translate superbly physically because I'm too used to pressing hard. Yeah. It can definitely like be a struggle to get used to like how much you should like be gripping your utensils, but it all depends on the medium. But I know, especially with like firmer grips, that's why, you know, finer nibs are just like, I'm so awful at using those because I end up destroying the nibs because they're so tiny. Got body just in it to say time for break. Yep. Weird to hear you talk about lore dump issues. I feel I'm the opposite. Not enough exposition. Yeah, Ohuhu, yeah. Like, see? That's literally it. But yeah, was very pleasantly surprised to see how many people voted for the grumpy citrus. Yeah, I wanted this one. Let's see. But yeah, basically from 4th place onward is where we get into some tie situations. For instance, for 4th place, we have Vakshi and Forest Guardian. Also keep in mind that when I tallied these up, it was at a specific point. So if you go back and look at some of my posts, some of the results may have changed. For instance, it used to be that Mac had originally won against the poll against Puro. But if I look back now, Puro won the poll by 1 vote, I think. So, yeah. But yeah, was surprised Bakshi did not win against Scotty, so which was a little bit surprising because in his matchup against Dreamwalker, he absolutely got all the votes almost. I think it was 7-2 or something like that. It was just absolute devastation. As for Forest Guardian, So, here's the thing. I was fully prepared for Forest Guardian to be lower on the rung, but I did not expect her to beat out Shade. Because that was her original matchup, was between her and Shade. And just barely, she managed to win. And I'm like, really? And I'm still trying to figure out why that was. Was there something about her design that people liked more than Shade's? Do we not have enough edgelords in this community? But yeah, she won that, but then I think did she lose to Vakshi? No. Yes? No, I forget. It's been a hot minute. No, she lost to Dolly, that's right. It was an absolute curb stomp against Dolly. Dolly just... Oh, and if we want to talk curb stomps, just for a second, poor Mac. The matchups weren't, all that, equal, so there wasn't always a matchup for every rung of the tournament. So I had to like hold a couple of options back just for the sake of like keeping it even. And I tried to keep I think it was Vakshi and Mac I kept because they're hosts of the Snapdragon Club, so I figured they've earned that like immunity for a little bit. But poor Mac, nobody voted for Mac. It was all Dolly. Not that these polka dots are going to be blue in any sort of sense, but I figured a light color would be easier to blend with whatever I ended up coloring the polka dots with. So these keep rolling over, so I'm just going to put them over there. I like Mac too. So many likable characters just got swept. Right. Which brings me to the 5th place wrong, which includes Akasi, Farmhand, Shade, and Mac. Akasi, I completely understood. He's unfortunately, like, even when I had polls in regards to who's like the top host of the Snapdragon Club, I feel like nobody was voting for Akasi, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate, but understandable. Like, personally, I still like his character. He's just so very difficult to draw. Because one, he's a muscular dude. And then secondly, he's got the elongated snout thing, which again is one of my weak points. That just sometimes if I don't know, like if I haven't drawn them in a while, it is going to be difficult for me to get back into drawing them again. This goes for every character, even Dolly. But yeah, I could have sworn that Shade would have been a decent contender for like maybe the 4th place rung at least. So to see him be knocked down to 5th place is a little heartbreaking. I don't know. I thought his inclusion in the Hunter's Tale was really cool, but I like my dark mysterious characters. Mac is also like kind of in that similar boat where he's very laid back and he doesn't like to show his cards like right from the get-go. He's very much all right. I'm gonna just take a step back, like take a look at the entire situation, get a good feel for what's going on, and then I'll come to some decent conclusions. And then everyone will be so shocked that I figured out what's going on because they're too busy in their own heads. Slightly busy at work, so you go for the refills from Blake, or are there a specific set of markers you like in their selection? for the most part, I haven't needed to, like, get any other, like, marker barrels outside of my original, you know, Uhuhu marker set. And even with the nibs, so the thing that happened with the nibs is that I also had, like, a hand-me-down selection of Copic markers for a while, but because it was just a small handful and I didn't have a whole lot of them and they were expensive anyways, and I knew I wasn't going to get more. So I basically phased out all of my Copic markers, but I also saved the nibs that I thought were in, like, decent enough condition that they could be used as, like, replacements. So yeah, I basically only use Blick for the replacement alcohol ink just because it is cheaper, and so far, you know, it's worked out. You can even see, like, in past drawings I did in the past streams, like, this is basically, like, mostly a mix of the Ohuhu ink as well as the Blick Arts ink. The purple is a that one's a special case because I have this one marker that's actually like like I have another marker that's of this same, like, color. However, instead of, like, just having the same color in two different barrels, I decided to basically use this one as my experimental ink marker. So if I, like, go and do some alcohol ink alchemy, then I'll just, like, pour it in this one and test out the colors that way. Or if I messed up, then all the leftover ink gets poured into that. I recall one voting bias I admittedly had several times. It boiled down to, I remember a previous incarnation of them. Time to overcorrect my opinion. Certainly a factor, unfortunately. I mean, this is why I knew that Dolly was going to win. I knew for a fact Dolly was going to win the tournament. I just thought that maybe Vakshi would get second place. I did not expect it to be Scotty. So that was an upset. I see. I was thinking gift ideas. Since a special occasion is coming up. Oh, shush. Shush. I do plan to do an early birthday stream at the end of May, so there's that. You guys can look forward to that. I hope during that stream people will consider getting some stickers or buying me a boba. But we'll save that for later. But yeah, with the 5th place out of the way, 6th place ended up being the final ranking, in which Dreamwalker and Puro tied for last. Which, again, completely just shocked me. I thought they were decent characters. I know Dreamwalker didn't get a whole lot of, like, time in the grand opening comic, but I thought his design was really cool. And Puro was basically the main character of the grand opening comic. Plus, his design is very vampire coded, so I don't know. Again, I don't think there's enough edgelords in I don't think there's enough edgelords in the community who voted. So poor Shade and Puro, we're just kind of off by the wayside. at least. I like the idea of not having to do an erasing step after this. So I can just... do whatever. Like maybe I'll go back and add some inking later, but for now, I kind of like how this looks. Yeah, those two deserve to be higher in the votes. You talking about Shade and Pyro, or Dreamwalker and Pyro? Either one of those, honestly. They I still like the designs a whole lot, and I like Shade's like mystery lore as well. Like I know he's only shown up in like basically 2 scenes in the Hunter's Tale, effectively, but I still love it, and I'm still looking forward to bringing him back in another tale. Strong competition, hard to beat so many adorable people. Do have a couple other ideas in mind for the birthday gift, but I figured the alcohol markers would especially be useful if you need them. Which I do appreciate. But yeah, I'd have to get back to you on that. Because, you know, it's really best to, like, if anyone wanted to, like, get me, like, alcohol marker refills, like, it would have to be colors that I plan on using a whole lot more. I feel like in terms of the ones that I do, like, want to use more, it would have to be more, like, really light colors, like, light grays and light pastels, especially. Because I already have a lot of, like, bold and dark colors. But I absolutely... definitely need more of, like, I feel like lighter blues and lighter yellows. I've just refilled my pinks, so I'm good on that. But yeah, if you're looking for, like, stuff that's more on the cheaper side in terms of alcohol ink, so far, the Blick Arts ones, not sponsored, not affiliated, those are the ones that have been working out for me. That's just in my experience thus far. But yeah, I should have figured that all the cute characters would have gotten the gold. But that's why the next time I do this tournament, Dolly and Scotty will not be in the running, because they've solidified themselves as the top 2. And I'm taking out 2 and not 3, just so I can, like, try and keep the number of characters even. But in any case, I'm gonna get you what you need. Not too worried about expense. Well, I worry. Like it's obvious, you know, with the whole Ko-fi link and everything, that I do hope to, you know, make money off this in some degree. But at the same time, I don't want you guys, you know, overspending on me, you know? But that goes to, like, anyone watching, whether you're watching the VOD or you're in chat. Do not spend past your means. Please take care of yourselves. But yeah, I feel like in terms of art supplies, I don't really... I feel like the ones that I really need more is just more of, like, actual things to draw on. Stuff like the mixed media pad that I've been using for making the comic pages, for instance. Like, those are what I draw all my comic pages on. The Ohuhu mixed media pad. Let me see really quick, actually, which one it was. Specifically, it is the 10 by 7.6 inch version of the mixed media pad. Because this is my last one, and it currently is being used up by a whole bunch of Actress's Tale pages. Just for a, you know, a quick thing. Like, basically, all these pages have all been used up for Actress's Tale, and then I have, like, basically half the book left to try and finish Actress's Tale. A little birthday splurge is okay. I mean, I do plan on getting some boba, because you know I can, and like, I gotta. If for those who don't know, I really love my milk tea, which is why instead of buying me a coffee on Ko-fi, it's set to buy me a boba. And in case you haven't seen the little notification up there, it says that if you decide to like buy me a boba or buy any of the stickers on stream, then you'll get a little shout out. I think there's also a shout out if you become a visitor of Sanctus, which is the $10 a month tier, in which you get a borb attributed to you. So like one of these little guys. But yeah, I don't usually like shill this early, but it's just one of those things. It's like it was in the middle of a conversation and I thought it fit. Makes detailed notes. Oh my goodness. You know, that reminds me that there's some canned boba I should buy and try some. Yeah, I think, don't those usually have like popping boba? I don't know. It's been a hot minute since I attempted to buy one of those kinds. Oh yeah. I did create a sort of like tier list based on who I have the most interest in drawing, like currently. Like, I still love all of my characters to varying degrees for various reasons, but there is definitely a pecking order when it comes to who I feel like drawing the most. And I am sorry to say that it is almost the exact opposite of how the how the tournament went. But like I said, that doesn't mean I like the characters any less or anything. It's just like some of them I just have more inspiration for. And I think I got all the quote-unquote line arts that I wanted, so I think I am safe to get into coloring. So while I'm doing that, I don't know the boba types, but the canned ones have the big jello. Jello-like balls. Well, that could be one of two things. I feel like that's either the tapioca pearls, which is what boba is, or it could be grass jelly if it's like actually more gelatin-like. Because grass jelly is more like gelatin, and boba's got more of a chewy texture to it. I just said I didn't need to erase. Why did I pick up the eraser? Because I am a silly borb, that's why. But for my interest in drawing tier list, I'll start from the bottom and go to the top, just so I can get it out of the way. Because I know I said it already that it's going to be mostly the reverse of what the tournament rankings were. And unfortunately, yeah, Dolly is at the bottom. Again, it's not that I dislike her for any reason. I still, like, love her. She's adorable. And, you know, in a pinch, she's just super easy to draw, you know? She's got the circle ahead. She just only got a couple tufts for hair. And, you know, she's got a cute little dress and very simplistic limbs. So, yeah, it's really easy to see why people love her. And to be fair, when I originally, like, created her, that was basically what I was trying to go for. And, oh my goodness, I am running out of ink for this, aren't I? I forgot I was running low on orange. That's okay, I can make do. I think there's just enough. But yeah, when I originally created Dolly's original incarnation, basically I had a couple of criteria in mind for what I wanted, because for the types of projects we were doing, I knew I was going to have to draw her a lot. So it's like, okay, she's got to be super simple, something that I can like just get out really quick, but also have like something that's like, you know, unique enough, that pops out enough that, you know, she'd be recognizable. So I went for the orange and blue color scheme. So she had the orange hair and she had like a blue oversized shirt, or, you know, that was sometimes a dress, but it was mostly an oversized shirt that sometimes had text on it, because that was the gag at the time. I am a silly Borb. Yes, you can quote me on that. But also during the stream, I am Harpy, so... let it be known. Technically, I am supposed to be in character right now, so shush. I know it's been a little bit of a learning curve, because I've been trying to get used to streaming and figuring out, like, what I'm comfortable with and what things I like, and it's gotten again to the point where, you know, what started out as a representation of myself as an artist just sort of became their own character. Fun fact, Scotty Hijack was also that. In that they started out as a representation of myself as an artist, and then just sort of became their own character, to the point where it's like, well, I can't say that they represent me anymore. They're so far removed from where they started that they no longer represent me. And I feel like Harpy is also on their way to being just that as well. Oh yeah. The color pencil definitely does add some interesting effects here, because it kind of blends into the alcohol ink a little bit. So you can see, like, right there at the bottom of the foot, kind of like add some streaks of other colors in there. It's very interesting. Yes, quite, very fascinating, very fascinating. I'm sorry. Feeling a little silly. You think the tapioca pearls? Yeah. Kinda wish Dolly's hammer space hat was demonstrated a bit more. It felt reasonable. A Dreamstar could fit in the hat. It could fit if the hat were normal. I totally get what you mean with that. Like, but yeah, the issue was that I couldn't think of like a proper thing that was like story relevant to like demonstrate that. I don't know, maybe one of these days when we return to Brazil, Crystal, and Falcon, that maybe I could figure out something else, but until then, it's just, it's there. And it's also because, I don't know, I haven't found a use for, like, Dolly's ability to summon toys out of her hat just yet. because she's very playful. She's not a fighter. She's not gonna get like super cool anime moves anytime soon. And hello, Kinger. Welcome, welcome. Just popped by to say hi. Hope you're all doing well. Doing fairly well. I've been coughing on and on, like off and on, but you know, that's mostly just because I'm getting into it. But otherwise, I'm doing well. So I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you're doing well too. And speaking of Dolly, one of the things that I regretted like almost instantly was the polka dots. Once I realized that I was giving her polka dots that I didn't intend for them to change color, I was like, oh no. Oh no. I'm going to have to remember where I placed those polka dots, what color they were, and then keep that in mind for every single frame. And it's like, no. So now I'm changing it. She has color changing polka dots now because I can't be bothered. I can't. And I cannot laugh because that also will make me cough. Just grab these. Just refilled them. But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, my tier list. So I explained why Dolly's at the bottom. Just above her is Farmhand. And once again, nothing wrong with Farmhand. I actually, like, in terms of just the pure character design, for those who don't know, hold on. Oh, right there. This is Farmhand. Like, in terms of pure character design, it's like, again, like Dolly's, it's super simple. It's just a circle. They basically got a cherry head. But there's also, like, nothing much to them in terms of lore. It's like, yes, I gave them a backstory, but they're not really an active force in the stories I'm telling. They're just more there for the background and as a reason why certain things are the way they are. Basically, they are like the pivotal thing that makes the city of Saint Flora what it is. Why it's all made up of like gourd-shaped buildings and such. Like, that's because of Farmhand. And, you know, in terms of personality, they're just like super kind, super sweet. I see a bunch of like lost humans wandering around who just got isekai to Sanctus, and they're just like, oh, the poor little things, they're so lost, they don't have a home. Let's give them a home. Let's get some food and some shelter while they're figuring things out. It's fine. Those poor little darlings. Okay. Because she's got like a little bit of a southern hospitality type of twang that I cannot do for the life of me. But yeah, it's like, once again, they're very simple. Probably like Dolly, I can draw them on the fly pretty easily. But yeah, it's not usually something that sparks too much interest. Basically, very inoffensive. And next we have Orin, which again, I know Orin got 3rd place. But she's basically your grumpy orange detective. Her whole thing is that she's always being like stood up for bigger cases. Like, she wants to be a big shot. she wants to be known as a very serious detective that people can take seriously, but because she's short and she has like a sort of like condition that she can't really overexert herself too much, otherwise she will cough up orange juice. It kind of like puts her in a position where she's very much like, no, you take it easy, it's fine. You go sit back. You how about you like grab me some coffee instead? That'd be like much more your speed. And she hates it. She hates it so much. She's like, please, I am smart, I am capable, just let me on a case. Put me on an actual case. And she vents about this to Mac all the time. And Mac is like, yeah, no, I agree with you. But yeah, in terms of drawing her, like, I don't know. There's nothing much to her design that's like particularly interesting for me at the moment. Like, it's always fun to add like the little leaf on top of her, just because that's cute and it's fun. And of course, drawing her little grumpy face and freckles. But her hair and outfit, I don't know. Just recently has not been up there. But and also, just to be clear, even though there are characters at the bottom of my tier list, I will still draw them. As you can see, like here, I'm drawing Dolly right here. And in fact, Dolly's picture is, like, Dolly herself is basically done. I'm just trying to, like, color the background elements now, basically. It's like, yeah, I could add, like, maybe a little bit of shading here and there, but there isn't really much more I need to add, really. Would you ever make a central community circle kind of thing for the comic, like a Discord server? So, the only reason I haven't made a Discord server yet is because I don't feel like I have the time to be a moderator for that sort of thing. Which is why currently the closest thing I have to like a community circle is the community hub on my YouTube channel. So for those who don't know, I do have the community tab. And basically, if you've been a subscriber to the channel for like 24 hours, then you're able to make posts on the community tab. And basically what I have the community tab for is just basically anything like related to Harpy, to Snapdragon Club, to the World of Sanctus. If you've got fan art, if you've got fan theories you want to share, if you just want to like start discussion and about any of those topics, then that's what the community tab is for. It hasn't been getting a whole lot of use, but that is what it is there for. And also, it's like if you have like OCs and stuff or things that you want to share in regards to that, you can also put that there too. So, yeah. Because at least with the community tab, I feel like I can more easily moderate that or, point out, hey, let's keep it within, a few certain topics and whatnot. That's a lot easier for me to, like, keep track of. At least for the time being. But if one of you guys want to start like a fan server or anything, then more power to you. But right now, I don't think I want to share my Discord with anybody. That's my boundary there. But it's also because at the current state that I am, I don't think there's enough people to warrant there being like an official Discord. Like, if the community tab is anything to go by, then it's like, I don't know. But yeah, further up the list, we have Shade. Shade is kind of in a similar, like the reasons I like drawing Shade is similar to the reasons why I like drawing Falcon. In that, like, sometimes I can just like fill in a silhouette and then it'll just be like done. And it's really nice, and I get to make all those like curvy little like Tim Burton-esque lines in his hair. So for those who don't know, this is Shade. He is the Nightmare Fae. And Fayrox, who was in chat earlier, he voices Shade in the Hunter's Tale comic dub. But yeah, I like drawing him. He's pretty fun. Hi, Shade. Yeah. And above him, I put sort of a tie between Mac and Akasi. So, once again, I love having these stickers on hand so I can easily show them. This is Mac. This is Akasi. And the reason I put these two on the same level in terms of my interest in drawing them is because they both have aspects to their design which I find extremely difficult to draw and draw like consistently. I mentioned earlier that Akasi's design, you know, he's both a muscly boy and he has the elongated snout. Whereas Mac, it's mostly his head and his like digitigrade legs that I have problems figuring out, especially if it's like a very weird camera angle. Then it's like, oh no, well, what do I do if he's facing this way, or the camera's like looking up at him like this, or you know, stuff like that. So it's like, yes, I love drawing them because I love like all the cute little unique things that make up the design. Like, if there's a couple things that I like drawing, I like drawing like Mac's little eyebrows up here. His little dot eyebrows are cute. And I also like drawing his eyes. And for Akasi, I think I like drawing his tail and his hood the most. But yeah. And then above that, we have Vakshi. Because Vakshi is one where it's like, yes, he's mostly simple to draw, but he also has a couple of things that make him a little bit more difficult. One of them being his extra pair of arms. Sometimes I forget that they are there and need to be reminded. He has a second pair of arms. Remember to make room for them. But also, giving him a wardrobe has also been a little bit of a challenge, just because he has a little bumble butt. So I gotta like figure out, okay, what's he wearing on his bottom half? And I think I figured out something. But yeah, like Dolly, he's very adorable, so I understand why a lot of people love him. He is the precious bee son. And then above him, we have Scotty. And it's interesting because Scotty, like, has a lot of similar features to Vakshi. But Scotty also has stuff like the rings of fire that she can make, or her, like, most prominent feature, which is her red like wing-like scarf, which basically acts as like another limb because it can move on its own. And it can move on its own because the humanoid form that we see Scotty in is not their true form. And for those who are subscribed to either the Patreon or the Ko-fi, or especially the Ko-fi, because I think so long as you like donated or like, you know, spent money on there in some form, you'll be able to access the posts that I have there. And among those posts is the Sanctus Pilot comic, which is 20 pages long, but it's also in like webcomic, like sort of long form webcomic format. So it's like one of those where like you're expected to like scroll through like you're on your phone, sort of almost like webtoon style, I guess. But yeah, in that Sanctus Pilot comic, it goes through how Dreamwalker met Scotty, and where kind of like touches upon where Scotty came from, and it shows Scotty what they were before they had their humanoid form. And hello, Mr. Gamer Guy. Welcome, welcome. Glad you can make it. I hope you've been well. Welcome back, Mr. Repairman. He behaves well. Goodness. And yes, Vakshi would love the bee puns. That is one of the many things he enjoys. But yeah, goodness. You got such a full house today. I don't think I've seen this many people in one stream before. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Enjoying the chill vibes. Seeing the cuteness that is Dolly. But let's see. Oh yeah, my top 3. So I'll quickly go through those. Number 3 on the list of characters that I have the most interest in drawing. Here's Piro. And it's mostly like the eyes. I love drawing like the fiery type of gradient for the eyes, and I think it just really looks nice on him. And I don't know, I think he's manager of the club for a reason. It is he. Honestly, kind of expected more people this stream. What about the Transformer stream? Oh yeah, that's right. There were a lot of people during the Transformer stream. I don't know where they all came from. I guess all the Transformers Prime fans just found it and was like, oh, someone's drawing Knockout and Soundwave. I mean, to be fair, you know, Transformers Prime was a really good show. I really liked the aesthetics of that show. You ever have sudden plot or character pivots? Like you're writing or drawing and you go, oh, this makes more sense, or this would be a more fun scene, etc. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, man, I'm having trouble coming up with like a specific example, but I know for a fact that this happened to me a couple of times, especially with the Hunter's Tale, and even currently with the Actress's Tale. Like, there were some scenes that I thought I knew what I was going to do, I was going to go through with it, but then I took a break from it, then come back, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what if I did this? And then that keeps going, and then I go down that rabbit hole, and I'm like, oh, well, actually, now that I think about it, this seems like a more dynamic and fascinating turn of events. You know what? I think I'm gonna go that way. So, yeah, absolutely happens to me, like, especially more recently, now that, you know, every now and again, I take a step back. Like, if I feel like inspiration's running dry, I just, like, take a step back from it, put it down for a while, go work on something else if I feel like it, maybe play some video games, maybe go watch some other YouTube videos, you know, just chill. So when I come back with fresh eyes, I'm like, huh, you know, when I read it like this, it seems like it's going in this direction, and this actually seems like more obvious. And then I'm like, okay, but if I go that way, what happens next? And then I spend some time thinking about that. Ooh, yeah. He really does give off the leadership vibes. Transformers are certainly a different breed. You should look at Prime. It is really neat. The last time I saw it, it was like, I think it was on Netflix. I don't know if they still have it on Netflix because it's been a while. Because I don't have Netflix anymore. But yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. So number 2 on the characters I have the most interest drawing. Oh, you know what? I realized in my ranking, I completely forgot about Crystal. I think Crystal is also probably like in the lower slots, just to be clear. So for those, I keep missing characters. I'm so sorry. But that's because Crystal was put up against Dolly, and yeah, Dolly took all the votes. Not all the votes, but definitely, like, it was a huge landslide for Dolly. But this is Crystal. She's the main character of The Hunter's Tale, which is the same story that Dolly is also, introduced in. Which, I love Crystal too, but I think I would put Crystal maybe below Shade, above Orin. Yeah, so I would rather draw Shade than Crystal, but I would rather draw Crystal than Orin. But anyways, back to the last 2. Here's Forest Guardian as my number 2. And the reason I enjoy drawing Forest Guardian is because she is so flowy. Like, everything about her design is so flowy, from the hat to the dress to the fact that her limbs are just like these sort of spindly things because they're kind of plant-like. And she doesn't walk normally, she floats. She just kind of floats very gently, like along the, like just above the grass, and then, there'd be like little bits of glittery flowers and all sorts of flora just sort of sprouting behind her. Very magical, very, very typical Fae. Which makes sense because she is one of the oldest Fae in Sanctus. But yeah, absolutely love drawing her. Because, yeah, super fun, super flowy. And on the subject of flowiness, that brings us to the number 1 Dreamwalker. It's the ribbon hair. It is very specifically the ribbon hair. I like drawing the ribbon hair. And just like Forest Guardian, he's just very mystical and ethereal looking. You never get to see his eyes. He has eyes, you just don't get to see them. And ribbons are fun to draw, yeah. Just about done with this piece. But that does not mean it's the end of the stream. Because I have one other picture that we can work on. I know the actual art progress has been slow going, but I've just been having a lot of fun talking with you guys. which may or may not have been detrimental to me coughing a lot, but we'll see. Yeah. I think we have this picture complete. Dolly is looking as cute as ever, and I did include her having her little elf ears poking out, just because otherwise I would keep forgetting that she has those. And you can thank JR for that, because after I saw him like draw Dolly that one time, I was like, that is right, because she is a humanoid face, she would have that. Which is why when you look at the Hunter's Tale, the same goes for Shade. This might be breaking the magic a little bit, but at first when I was drawing Shade in the comic, I wasn't drawing his ears. But I drew his ears when he came back in the comic. Almost forgot myself. I mean, like, to be fair, in the comic itself, I was not drawing Dolly with ears. And it can be mostly excused just because, you know, her hair is so big, most of the time it would be covered. So there are very rarely times where the ears would be showing. But you know, I figured for this piece, you know, I would just like that little reminder of, hey, she got pointy ears. Which you can actually see in the stickers as well. All the humanoid fae also have the pointy ears. You have Dreamwalker, also has the pointy ears. And same for Forest Guardian. You can't see the pointy, but you can see she has ears. And also same for Shade, if I can find him. Yeah. He also has the ears of pointy. And in Dolly's sticker, you can't really see the ears. Yeah. There was just no way. You were not going to see the ears on this. But she is there in all her cuteness. She is there. Where did you buy the new ears? Nope, hair too big. Yes, the hair is too big. Dreamwalker eye reveal when? Never. Dreamwalker's eyes are one of those things where it's like, you'll get to see others' reactions to seeing his eyes, but you'll never get to see his eyes. And there's a reason for that. So, and the reason is that Dreamwalker's eyes, like, they're a normal pair of eyes, for one. But the thing is, the color of his eyes, no one can, like, ever remember. And so he'll, like, lift up his bangs and they'll be like, oh, I know it. I know what your eyes look like now. And then he'll put his bangs down and they'll be like, wait. No, wait. I just saw it. I literally just saw it. How come I don't remember what it looked like? I just saw it. And the reason for that is because they have the same effect as, you know, waking up from a dream. You know? It's like, you know how, like, if you have a dream And you like remember, you know in the moment what it is. And you're like, yeah, I know what's going on. I know what's happening. I'm going with it. And then you wake up and you're like, no, I know I dreamt something. What was it? It's the same effect. It's the same effect. Dreamwalker's Eyes had the same effect. You really like that? Yeah, I'm glad you do. That's like one of my favorite lore bits about him. Goodness. But yeah. I think with this piece finished, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're gonna get started on Scotty. But as usual, the fishing mini game and the dwarves will be here, so you can play with those while we are on break. But otherwise, feel free to get up, get some stretches in, get yourself some snacks and some drinks for yourself, take care of what you need to, and we'll see you after the break. Alright, and I am back. Thank you for your patience. And also, hello, Kana. Welcome, welcome. Yes, it is Scotty, but since you just got here, here's Dolly. Along with plush versions of the Snapdragon Club hosts. So we just finished this piece, as well as gone over the Favorite Sanctus Character Tournament that was hosted in the community tab. Which basically sums up to, because Dolly and Scotty placed first and second, they are going to be removed from the next time I do this tournament. And in their place will be 2 more Sanctus characters. Number 1 Dolly indeed. But yeah, I've also been doing a thing where instead of using my colored pens to do the line art, I've been using colored pencils instead. Although for this one, I think it's going to be mostly just using this one and that one. Because the thing with Scotty's color palette is that it's a lot of warm colors, like a whole lot. It's basically orange, black, and red are the main colors she's got going on. And for those who would like a reference of what that looks like, this is Scotty. And also, for those of you who've been seeing me take out these stickers of the characters every now and again during the stream, all these stickers are available on the Ko-fi shop, so you can get them there. She's so cute. What is Dolly's prize? Does she get a puppy? She gets the satisfaction of knowing she's the cutest. Which, literally all her life she's been told she's the cutest. Everyone tells her this. Like, she knows she's cute. She knows. Feather King agrees. She knows she's cute. Very fitting that she won. Yeah. I knew she was gonna win. And welcome back, JR. I'm gonna take a moment to sharpen these pencils and then we'll get right into outlining, I suppose. Just want to make sure that these are super sharp. Yep, that'll work. Probably just gonna be using mostly this one because once again, she is basically all warm colors. That's the wrong one. Enormous platypus, let's go. And yes, we're back. Hello, Ferox. Everyone is back. It appears we still haven't yet to catch any items, though, which is unfortunate. Okay, this is the one I wanted. I guess it doesn't really matter too much, considering I'm going to go over most of this in black. I think that's pretty much all I need. bunch more purple. And hey, Kamada-kun, welcome, welcome. Glad you can make it. I hope you're doing well. Crab time. I wish it were crab time. So I think what I'm going to do is, to start off, I will use this marker for a desaturated purple in all of the areas that I would usually color black. I also feel like it's a nice way to use up this ink, because otherwise I don't use this particular color that often. Also put in a little bit of yellow over here, because that's where the light source is. Be a good orange substitute. So I don't know if you guys have had lunch yet. If you have, let me know what you had. Cause I had a quesadilla. Ah, soup. Soup's always good. about to make nachos or tacos, haven't decided yet. Both of them sound good. Because of Scotty's very minimal color palette, I think I'm already almost done. I'm going to need to remember how to do fire effects again, but I think this came out fairly decently at least. There we go. I don't know. What do you guys think? Considering filling in the background with just a pure black, just to make Scotty stand out that much more. You like? Shading is nice. Beautiful. Thank you. Flame and shapes can be tricky, to be fair. As opposed to just flaming, yeah. Like, I had a whole system for how I drew Scotty's fire rings before, but it's been so long since I've drawn them with the fire rings that I completely forgot how. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and fill out the background with pure black. And then after that, I think that'll be a good place to end the stream. And luckily, since I am feeling better, you guys can expect the usual Friday comic stream, in which I will be continuing The Actress's Tale. I've been busy basically refining the sketches. I'll have plenty to work with on Friday. Villaging. Say hi. This has been nice though. Look forward to Friday. Sure forward to Friday is taking by some trashy novel. Maybe. Yeah, he says hello back. I do like doing these pure black backgrounds. They just make like these standalone pieces a little bit more striking. It's like, alright, just block this all out and bring in all the focus right here. Especially if there is like glowing bits, like the fire. I'm definitely looking forward to doing 2 streams a week again. Because it is a pain in the butt to lose that momentum. But thank you very much for joining me today. It was a lot of fun. We had so many people chatting today. A lot of great questions. We got to talk about the all the Sanctus characters and all the stuff I like about them or the stuff I find tedious. But the takeaway is I still love all of them. And I will still draw them. Every single one of them. And I hope you guys enjoyed your time too, whether you are in chat or watching the VOD. And if you guys enjoy my art and my stories, I hope you'll consider liking, commenting, sharing the videos, especially the comic dubs. Like, please spread the comic dubs around. I would very much like to get feedback on what people think of the stories. And if you haven't already, I hope you consider subscribing to the channel so that you'll see where the tales of the Snapdragon Club go next. And as I've mentioned earlier in the stream, if you feel super generous, we have a Ko-fi link right up there where you can buy me a boba You can become a visitor of Sanctus and get a board attributed to you. Or you can visit the coffee shop and get some stickers. Basically, all of the characters that were featured in the tournament are also here in sticker form, as well as stickers of my Harpy form and my Princess Borb form. So yeah. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on Friday. So see you then.